Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. First let me say rest in peace, Blaxx. Your music was amazing. I personally a huge fan of Blaxx. When you hear him belt out a melody, you have to kind of sit back and you know just be so amazed by the power that comes out of that body. So sad to hear that. Really, really sad. We've definitely lost an icon, somebody who was, quite underrated in my opinion. And I just pray that he rests in peace and sing for all the angels, and that we will never forget, all the music and all the beauty that he brought to us and by extension to everybody who love Caribbean music. So rest in peace, Blaxx. I also want to kind of share some thoughts. I've been, as things are starting to ease up and they're, looking to ease restrictions, I think it's very important that we kind of take stock of what really has happened in the last 2 years and truly understand what has really happened here. And I don't really think that's happening. I think people are being very casual about the whole thing. And it kind of disturbs me, to be honest, because when they come with round two, and there will be a round two, how will we respond then? Will we just take it, lay down and play dead? What governments around the world have done these past 2 years has been nothing short of not only disturbing but completely uncalled for. There should never be a time when a government can tell you that if you don't do this, then this will happen. Like, it should never be a time when they could tell you can't open your business, you can't, visit family, you can't leave your house, you can't go to work if you don't take what I'm telling you to take. I mean, how disturbing is that? One of the biggest gifts that we can have for ourselves is bodily autonomy. Being able to decide for ourselves what we put in our body, what we eat, what we drink, things that we choose to do. I mean, I know the argument will be, you have these schedule of vaccinations that, you have from since childhood. I didn't really have a choice, childhood. And quite frankly, I was questioning that even before all this happened. And I think nothing is wrong with that. Like, I know it's like a very taboo thing now to say I'm questioning something that's held as gospel. But if I use that same argument, then should we have never questioned if the world was round? I mean, that was held as something sacred as well, and he went to jail for that, and he still questioned it. And now it's a held thought that the world is round. And now the people who are questioning again, maybe the world is flat, and I think it's okay that they question that. I mean, it's their choice. I think telling people that you can't question is when you really should be concerned and worried. And I don't know, I'm really disturbed at how casual we are at everything. When they want to take away, and like we're almost like thanking the government. Thank you for giving us back our freedom. They had no right to take it away in the first place. I'm going to thank the PM. Thank you for giving me back what you had no right to take away. That's insane. You had no right to take that away. I see somebody comment on somebody's post about how they're so disappointed with the people who chose not to take it, how they're spewing vitriol, how they're so bitter. Of course they're bitter. They lost jobs. People weren't able to go to school. You lost connections with friends and family because of a difference of opinion, and people don't want to be around you. And okay, of course they're bitter. I mean, hello, do you see what has happened? Do you see what has happened? I mean, it's very disturbing. And it's even more disturbing that they're not questioning it more. I think that's even more disturbing. When they want to take it away, they tell you from midnight to night. Or, the one in New Zealand, she would say from 11:59 p.m. It's the same thing. I mean, I guess you just try to be a little different. But when they want to give it back to you, they give you, it's like 2 weeks later, a week later, a month later. It was never yours anyway to take away in the first place. It was never yours. What has happened here? It needs to never happen again. I know it will, but it needs to never happen again. We need to question it. We need to ask Why did this happen, and why did we allow it? Why? You can have your opinions about the shot or whatever. I mean, I don't know how many people have to die before people see that the shot never worked. I mean, if you tell me it's been researched for years and years and years, which is not true, and they know it's 100% safe and effective, which is also not true, then why is it every second it's like, okay, it's really 3 shots. Okay, no, really, it's 4 shots. Oh, you know what? It might be annual. I mean, hello, there's some people who are up to the 5th shot. You know that? 5th shot. And it's not even 2 years yet. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy. There are people who are permanently injured, some who are dead after the 1st shot, and then they call them, they all lump it all into one. You're unvaccinated, which is not true. And it's like all swept under the rug. There are so many people questioning things. I mean, the British Medical Journal wrote a lot of articles. It's a very respected journal questioning what has been happening. They had the whole whistleblower on a program, and she was talking about all the disturbing things she saw, the unblinding, the not taking care with the, not following safety rules. I mean, a bunch of stuff, and they fired her, and they're still using the same vendor. And okay, you also want to say it's good, okay, but I mean, that's fine if you want to, but don't get upset when I have questions. If I have questions, that's my right to have questions. I mean, I just don't know. And the way that we kind of separated from one another, getting upset, throwing insults, calling each other names, and now everybody's talking about Will and Jada. What Will and Jada have to do with you? I mean, who cares? This one slapped this one, who cares? I mean, I think that's such an uninteresting conversation. Personally, I have no interest in that conversation, because what has been happening these past 2 years is disturbing. Do you all realize what has been done to families, especially children? Schools used to be safe places for children. That was their safe zone. Some families, to them it was just an inconvenience, and to others it was completely devastating. There are some people who were out of school for 2 years and who may never go back to school, who may never, even though schools are bringing back, they may never go back to school because of whatever situation in their families. Do you all know that? Do you know what has happened? And what is the explanation? None. There is none. Schools all over the world were open. Japan never closed schools. Never. There was never a pediatric emergency. Never. I don't care what anybody says. There was never a pediatric emergency. Children were not dropping dead. Especially healthy children, you're not dropping dead. The only time I heard about children getting sick was after they started the jabs. Never heard about children getting sick. Because they were not. And you kept them out of school for what? You know why you kept them out of school? To force an action. To make parents think there was no other way. Get them the injection and then you'll get it back. That in itself should tell you how disgusting the behavior of these government officials have been. To use children as bargaining chips. I don't know how we could be okay with what has happened. This is a truly, truly disturbing thing that has been going on. And there's not enough outrage. There is not enough outrage. Nobody's questioning why all these old politicians in their 60s, 70s, 80s, who are not following any of the rules they did for everybody else, not falling ill, not dying. When you have people and you will say, oh, well, they took the, oh, please. There are people who are taking it all the time and dying. So they're just so lucky they have the best ones. Like, I mean, what is this? There's things that just don't make sense, but you don't want to question it. And when I question it, then it's like, why are you questioning it? I question because I want to question. If you don't want to question, okay, that's you. I question because if things don't make sense, I'm going to question it. And like when you say trust the science, I wonder if you guys actually read science. Did you all read the trial data from when they got the EUA? I don't know how anybody could have proved that. I read only a few pages. I didn't read the whole thing yet, and I want to read more of it. But just a lot of the things that you see there when they got approved, they didn't have anybody who had comorbidities. If they had comorbidities, it had to be under control. If you had HIV, it had to not be detected in your bloodstream. If you had diabetes, it had to be under control by diabetes. So how can you say from the EUA that it's safe and effective for people with comorbidities. And then something happens to them, oh, well, they had comorbidities. They were living all the time with their comorbidities. Why didn't you leave them? That trial had nobody over the age of 65, but yet you're forcing people, seniors, to go and take it when you didn't even have them in the trial, when you got the EUA. They added them afterwards. Why didn't you ask those questions? And what about after some people who got the first shot and they had symptomatic infection, whatever that means? I don't know what symptomatic infection means. They could have died for all I know. They dropped them from the trial and they didn't even post the results. They were just dropped. After the first shot, if you got symptomatic infection, they dropped you from the trial. Wouldn't that be valuable data to know if after the first injection people were getting sick? Wouldn't that be valuable information to know? Why would they drop them from the trial? There's so many questions, no answers. And then when you ask for answers, you're all kind of names. You have to be smarter than this. This is dangerous. What is our government for? We need to really ask, what is our government? What is your role? Do you report to us or do you report to some other entity who tells you what to do? And really ask yourself that, because all these governments, doesn't matter what country it was the same signage, it was the same script, they all said the same thing from midnight to night. They all said the same thing. There was nothing original. It was literally a script they read from. If you got sick after the injection, if you fainted, you had anxiety, it's the same exact script. Ask yourself, who wrote that script? Why did they read that script? And why were they forcing us to do things that we didn't want to do? We need to start asking, demanding from our government, what is going on here? Who do you report to? Do you report to us, the citizens, or do you report to somebody else? Is that the government that we want? And they will all be like that. I'm not choosing a government because as far as I'm concerned, it's all folly. Doesn't matter who was in power, they're going to do the same thing because, everybody afraid. But as far as I'm concerned, if we do not question us now, what's to come is extremely, extremely concerning. I pray for us all. I do. And I pray everybody stays healthy. Live your life. Be happy. Don't keep hiding from people. Forget this social distancing. Forget this masking. It makes no sense in my opinion. Let's live like how we're supposed to live as human beings. Human beings are connecting with one another, touching, feeling. We're not robots. We're humans. We're not commodities. We're not products. We're human beings. Take back your freedom. Nobody's supposed to take it from us. Alright guys, I know that was very strong, but I wanted to share that. So until the next time, bye.